Yo, what's good, peeps? I don't really know how podcasts work, but welcome to the first episode of the Drew 313 podcast. Yeah, you're damn right. Podcast. So hopefully this all turns out great. Hopefully you'll see it on YouTube, which if you're watching on YouTube, I don't know how this all works, so unfortunately you don't get to see the sexy face today, but I don't know how it works on Spotify. I don't know how it works on Apple Podcasts yet. I don't know if I'm allowed to put videos out there. So for the first episode here on YouTube, you don't see my face. I'm sorry. And for the first episode, it's just me. I also apologize for that because I don't know how long this thing will be, but you're just going to hear my voice today. But let me give you guys a quick explanation about what this podcast is going to be based off from. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. This first podcast, we're talking Pistons, and we're going to be talking about the Lions versus the Packers tomorrow. But my whole goal for this podcast is when I get people on, like I know a lot of you guys yesterday when I posted I'm doing this podcast, you guys all pretty much said everything king for the first guest. So when I get him on here, I want to know why he got into YouTube. I want to know what he takes to put into his videos. I mean, yes, a lot of it will be talking about the Pistons, and when I have Lions YouTubers on here, it'll be about the Lions and why they talk about them, why they cover them. But I'm gonna get Nomas back on here, and we're gonna talk about AEW versus WWE. And when I get some people on here who like Marvel movies, we're gonna talk Marvel, what we think they're going to be doing in their next phases. And we're going to be talking about everything. So if you guys watch the Joe Rogan podcast, how he talks about UFC one day with one person, and then the next day he has another stand-up comedy person come on there. And then the next day he smokes a lot and they talk about UFOs and Bigfoot. This is what this is going to be. Because I see a lot of Detroit themed podcasts, which is great. And it's already been done. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to expand upon it and take it to that next level. So we're gonna see how this turns out, and hopefully you guys like it. I know on YouTube you have to like the video and subscribe. Again, I have no effing idea what this Spotify and Apple Podcast world holds. So hopefully this turns out great. But whatever the equivalent to liking the video and subscribing on those platforms are, please do it. So it's going to be interesting, man. I know I have a lot of guests lined up. I have a lot of different guests. But another thing I want to add on to what I'm trying to do with this podcast is when I get a guest on here, if it's someone like an Everything King who has been on YouTube, which a lot of us watched Everything King, and we're like, oh, let's do that too. I want to get behind them and be like, why did you get here? How did you get here? And really open that person up to a different point of view. You haven't seen them before. And then I have some guys that you may have not heard of yet. And when I get them on here, I want to make sure you guys understand their viewpoints, how they got to what they're doing, and then make sure you guys go follow them and watch either their YouTube videos, their podcast, whatever it is that they're doing. It's really to get the community together and also expand the community and help you guys go out and find those other people that you may have not heard of yet, which there's a lot of great podcasts out there that, like I said, you guys haven't heard of yet, which you need to. And that's kind of what I'm doing here is helping those guys get to where they need to and also getting you guys to find them instead of them having to wait. Because I know when I started doing YouTube, oh God, how long ago was it? It's been a hot minute because I didn't just start talking about the Pistons. I pretty much started in I want to say 2016. Let me see if I can find my oldest video right now. It was 5 years ago. So yeah, 2016. That's a long time ago. A very long time ago. And when I started out, I didn't have any views. I had nothing. I didn't have someone to give me a shout out or a handout. I started from scratch. I uploaded just the shittiest of videos. And I did it with my brother, who's 4 years younger than me. And he was on a lot. And I've gone through and rewatched some of those ones. And I realized how bad they were. And I took some of those down because I don't want anyone to ever watch those ever again. But I've learned from it. And I've grown so much. But I just want to help those guys where when I was starting, I was lost. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how to get people to watch. I didn't know how to be Detroit Drew. I wasn't even Detroit Drew yet. I was using my Xbox gamer tag, which was a long one, and it just didn't flow. So everyone just started calling me Drew because it was the first part of my name, but the other just was so long and it was so stupid. You guys don't even know. I'm sure some of you OGs remember. And when I made that transition to Detroit Drew after some time, I had a lot of consolation on what I should change my name to, which Detroit Drew is pretty simple, but it's actually my brother who came up with it. And once I became Detroit Drew, I started to take pieces of different things that I've watched. So a lot of you guys know I used to watch WWE back in the day when it was good. Back when with the Rock and Stone Cold and all those guys. And I've taken a lot what those guys say and put my own twist on it. And that's where I get a lot of my criteria from. Is from wrestling because it was such a huge thing. Everyone watched it. Everyone knows Stone Cold sayings. Everyone knows The Rock saying. So that kind of, since it was already part of me, I put it into my stuff. But then, like, my music taste, like, you hear a lot of Eminem in the background. It's because growing up, that's pretty much who I listened to was Eminem. Until this day, I still listen to Eminem's old music, his new music. He's had some rough patches, but that's really where I got a lot of my inspiration from. But then, like, Drake, he's a lot of my instrumental music too because he's one of my favorites in the game right now. There's no question about it right now. He's the best in the game right now. 2021, there's no one on Drake's level right now. But then, like, I also like 21 Savage a lot. You hear a lot of 21 background instrumental music, is because he's one of my favorites in the game. I don't know if I'd put him in the top 5 right now in today's music world, but he's one of my top 5 favorites in the music world right now. So that's kind of this, like, what I had to learn is to do this. And if you're a YouTuber who's coming up right now who wants to talk sports, screw the sports stuff. If you're just a YouTuber right now who wants to start and you haven't found your footing yet, it's kind of what you have to do. You have to put your personality into this. When I came out, I was very quiet. I was very shy. The beard wasn't fully grown in yet. I had that chin strap. I don't know how any of you guys watched my stuff. I really, really don't. But you have to put your personality in here because if you just come on here and you put the facts out there, which is good, but you have to put your own twist to it. There's a weight you have to balance out. You have to put the facts out there to make your point, but then you also have to put your personality and how you feel about it to back it up. Like a lot of it's we talk about on Above the Rim is Westbrook. You can talk about his stats, his triple doubles, and I know a guy like JMO really likes Westbrook, and he puts the stats out there and he elevates them to this platform where it makes them look good. Whereas me, I take the stats and I say, yeah, they're nice, but I don't like Westbrook because it doesn't translate to winning. It's something you have to do. So you have to have your own side on it. And that can translate to anything. Like if you want to talk, there's a lot of these nerdy channels out there. I don't know how many of you guys are nerds. Probably not many. But with all this Marvel and DC movies that are coming out every year, you have to put your own twist on there. So like you had this report and you're like, okay, I think that all 3 of the Spider-Men, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland are all going to be in this movie. It hasn't been confirmed yet. You can take those reports and run that view. Or you can put, no, I don't think all 3 of those guys will be in there. It's something that you have to do. And you have to put your points out there and how you feel about it. And that was something that I struggled with when I first came into this, was I didn't put my view on it. I just put the Pistons would make the playoffs, which, they did a couple times. But I didn't break down Reggie Jackson's gameplay and how his stats looked. I didn't break down Andre Drummond's ridiculous rebounding totals when I started doing this. I just thought because I watched the games a certain way, I thought those people who would watch my videos would talk about it the same certain way. And that's really when I started to grow at a ridiculous rate. I went to having 400 subs to 1,000 in no time when I started to do that. Plus, I also started to upload every single day, which really, really helped because people who already liked my stuff were watching me every single day, which really helps. And I cannot stress to you how much quantity helps, but you also have to put in quality. That's when I started to really focus on the intro, having some highlights in there, having some dope music. And I've had some dope music throughout the course. When I first started, I had, again, so it goes back to my music taste. When I first started out, I had Eminem, I'm Shady. How many people know that song? Probably not many. It's off of one of his first albums. It's just a funny song. That was my first intro. And I had all of my jerseys in there. It was the start of something. But I took that and I was like, all right, I don't like this intro. And once I get big, it's probably gonna get copyrighted. So then I found Lose Yourself, an instrumental version of that, and I started putting highlights in there. And the transitions and the editing wasn't there. I just threw it all together. But it taught me, it was a learning curve because I've never done this before. I've never taken any college courses on editing and broadcasting, nothing. I'm straight out of high school, never went to college. I graduated high school and I went to work. So I don't have any degrees in this. I just make it look easy. I don't script anything. I have a few points about what I want to talk about. Like right now, I'm freestyling all this. I don't have this wrote down anywhere. This is all off the top of my dome. And it's something that a lot of people can't do. I remember when I did the Woodward draft lottery show. All these guys like Pistons Talk and Detroit Kool-Aid all had these notes down, which is cool. You know, some people need those. I didn't have anything. We had all these guests come on, and I just freestyled it. It's just who I am, and a lot of people can't do that. But if you can, it's so unique. You have to find out whatever that version is of you to do it. But going back to my editing point, it's all about a learning curve. You have to get there. You have to fail sometimes. I had a lot of people who never subscribed and disliked my videos because of the quality of them. The quality of them was not good. And that kind of hurt, man. It's discouraging when you're starting out. And I don't want some of you guys to get discouraged because we don't know who the next big thing is going to be. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm this expert because I'm not. I just want to help you guys because no one was there to help me at all when I was first starting out. And it can be very tough and very discouraging. I didn't upload every day when I first started out because, for one, I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But when I really got invested into it, when I really started to pick up the interest in doing this, I went all out. I got better each and every single video I did. And eventually came into the DSA. I found a group of people there that we supported each other. We helped each other get better. We're on each other's shows and streams. And eventually we got the DSA roundtable going on, which that's coming back now that football season's back here. And then we created Above the Rim, which that had some hiccups. It wasn't Above the Rim first. It was Pistons Center Court, but we had this falling out. People left. You guys know the story. Not digging in there. That's buried history. Never to be brought up again. But it led to Above the Rim, which is the hottest Piston show on YouTube. There ain't anything out there like it. That's why I'm doing this. Is there's not going to be anything like this. Is once I get these people on here and we talk about the things we talk about, it's going to be different. And that's all what YouTube's about. Is there's so many people out there, you have to make it your own. Because if I came out here and just copied off of YouTubers about what they say, I'm not Detroit Drew. I'm not Double D. I'm something else. I'm not, if that makes sense. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Sometimes when you start out, you have to fail to get better and learn. And it's good to watch people who have more views and higher subscribers to see what they're doing. And, I don't think Everything King knows this. Maybe he does. I don't know. But I used to watch every single one of his videos when he uploaded, like on the dot. I had the notification bell turned on because he was just so damn good. I'm like, what is he doing different? And it wasn't that he had these crazy edits out there. He just knew how to talk properly. He knew how to get his point across. So it's like you can watch those guys, you can learn from them, but you don't have to copy them. You don't come out and say the same things they do. You got to put your own twist on it. How do you feel about it? How do you get your point across? And it's not an easy thing to learn. It took me a few years to get it. But once I finally figured out those missing pieces, after I joined DSA and was able to learn from some of those guys, which a lot of those guys helped me learn how to stream for one, you can make it your own and you can grow. So you have to invest into it. You have to spend money onto it. When I started this, I didn't have a computer. And to this day, when I'm not going live, all my videos are recorded off of my phone. Every single one of them. I upload them on my phone. I edit them on my phone. I make my intros off my phone. And I didn't have a computer. But then I was like, if I'm taking this serious, I have to buy the computer. And it wasn't like I was broke. I had a good job. I had money saved up. I just had no desire for a computer. I had my phone. So once I found out I needed to stream, boom, here we go. And we're already 50 minutes into the podcast, and I haven't talked about a single topic I wanted to talk about yet. But it's kind of like I just want you guys to know that this is for everyone out there who is trying to become on this platform, whether if it's on Spotify and Apple Music or podcast, whatever it's called, or if it's on YouTube, if it's on some other platform that I haven't mentioned. This all applies to it. You have to find out who you are and how you want to be portrayed. And I get some hot takes, man. I say some things people don't agree with, but at the end of the day, it's how I feel. Like this whole Blake Griffin thing. A lot of people just want to, brush it underneath the rug. Not me. I don't want people to forget what a bum that guy is and how he did Detroit dirty. It's just something that I feel very strongly about. All these WWE videos I've created, there's not a different person out there doing that kind of thing in terms of Detroit sports. It's unique. And there's a lot of things you guys can do out there that are unique that I haven't thought about, that someone else hasn't thought about, whether if it's the Pistons, the Tigers, the Red Wings, whoever. It doesn't have to be sports. You just have to make it your own. But we'll leave some of this motivational stuff and how to become a YouTuber and be good at it for when we have some of the guests on, because I don't want this solo one to be a super, super long one since it is my first one, because I don't know how to upload this anywhere yet except for YouTube. So stay tuned. This should be interesting. But like right now, I'm trying something new. I'm putting myself out there. And this might not turn out the way I want it to, but I can bet you that throughout the course of the year of doing this podcast, it's going to be one of the best damn podcasts out there you guys have ever watched. And that's because I bet on myself. But let's talk about the Pistons. We got some news, got some rumors going on around there. Let's talk about Big Ben first, making the Hall of Fame. We haven't talked about that on the channel yet. I am so damn happy for Ben Wallace. Gotta do the Mason intro when you talk about Big Ben. The first ever in the history of the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame, first time ever, an undrafted player has made it. And of course, it's not other than Big Ben. 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion. I mean, you can just go down the list of credentials. He's a Hall of Famer. I've never seen anyone as undersized as Big Ben dominate the center position. The highlights of this guy. Stuffing Shaquille O'Neal, 7-footer at the rim. Just so much stronger. It's really a motivation. It tells you no matter what your size, no matter what sport they tell you to play, because he was a football player. He wanted to play football. But no matter how small you are, or if you're not as talented as the other player, or as good looking, or as famous, whatever it may be, if you put the work in, you're going to be successful. Your road might be harder than others. You might not have everything handed to you. You're going to have to bust your ass. You're going to have to work every day. You can't take days off. But every person's road's different, you know? And Big Ben put the work in. There's a reason that 04 squad's nickname is the Going to Work Pistons. It's because Big Ben was the first one here through those doors that changed the culture because of his work ethic. And he wasn't a scorer. He didn't put up 30 points, 20 points a night. He would come in and get you 3 blocks a night, though. He would lock some people up, change the tempo defensively for you, make the other team's job harder. If they're going to come in here for a win, they're going to have to earn it. If they want to come in the paint and they want to get to the free throw line, I'll put them there. But they're going to have to make me to foul, or they're going to have to beat me there first. And I think that today, his legacy, and just in terms of the Pistons, still stands. People still idolize that team. People still want the next Big Ben on their team. That's why so many people compare Isaiah Stewart to him, is because, for one, they got similar builds. They're both undersized at the 5 position, but they both work hard. Stu's just a hustler, diving for loose balls, fighting for the rebounds, talking trash to league MVPs and finals MVPs, and not backing down no matter who you are. And that's because of Big Ben. That's the built-in culture. And I've told you guys this before many, many times, is that Detroit is one of the only cities that has a built-in identity to it. It's the hard-working defensive squads. And a lot of that goes to Big Ben, who also inherited The bad boys, where they were the no nonsense, knock you on your ass, we're tough, you can't beat us kind of mentality. That was the culture. And Big Ben embodied that. But then again, we go back to how you got to make it your own, is both those squads were very different. I think the '04 team was more talented defensively than the bad boy team. The bad boy team was just physical, really, really physical. Whereas the '04 team legit shut people down. They hold the record for holding people under 70 the most times. And then you can say, well, the league wasn't the same. Bull crap, sir or ma'am. They did it to Kobe and Shaq, who's one of the greatest duos of all time. The Brooklyn Nets, at the time was the New Jersey Nets, was one of the best offensive teams in the league. Then you had the Indiana Pacers, which we all watched the Palace at the Malice documentary. They were damn good. Really good. We held all those teams and more to under 70. And I could go through and list all the players that were in the league at the time, but that could be the whole podcast. Point is, Big Ben, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And it's just great to get validated in that stance. But probably one of the most important things to me that stood out against that night, no, it wasn't Cade and Beef Stew being there, although that was great for them to talk to everyone there and kind of pick their brains. I know that '04 team that was there was, giving them a shout out. But it was the way the '04 team supports one another. All of them were there. Chauncey, Rip, Sheed, Prince. They were all there to support their brother, Big Ben. That team is more than just a squad that was thrown together. They're a family. They support each other. They talk to each other all the time. Can't tell you how many times Rip Hamilton goes live on Instagram and boom, he's talking to Chauncey or he's talking to Tayshaun or Sheed and Big Ben are traveling together. Like they're close, they're friends, they're family. And that's something that the Pistons, probably can't replicate. It has to happen naturally because all those guys had very, very similar stories. They were all given up on, never really given a shot. Tayshaun probably thought he probably should have gone higher in the draft, but I mean, you can't really argue. He was where he was. But, Chauncey was a journeyman at the time. Rip played in Washington. He played with Stackhouse and MJ. How are you going to get any time there? Big Ben was undersized. No one wanted to give him an opportunity. Sheed was getting older, wanting out. They all came together and they solidified. And they formed one of the greatest, most dominant defensive teams of all time, if not the best. So definitely good to see Big Ben get into the Hall of Fame. Now, let me take a swig of this Drew Weiser. I don't know how people can just talk without drinking. I really don't. But we got some more rumors. John Wall and the Houston Rockets have agreed to mutually part ways. How many times have we heard that from the Pistons? That the Pistons and blah, blah, blah have eventually agreed to part ways. No. I don't want John Wall. And you know how it is every time a player like that becomes available, the Pistons are somehow, some way, always one of the first teams thrown out in the mix that have been interested. And just because we're interested doesn't mean we're actively trying to do it. We're trying to see what's out there. If there's a trade where we get John Wall, but somehow get better, if it's acquiring picks or young talent, then of course you do it. But it's just like every time that we're thrown out there, it's like the Pistons are like, ooh, they're one of the top teams. No, we're not. We're just doing our due diligence. We're trying to see what the hell is out there. And any good GM does that. If any player in the league says they want out, as a GM, you should call and see what they're asking for at bare minimum. It's the same thing we did with Ben Simmons. We're not trading for Ben Simmons. We're not giving up Killian yet. Now, at the end of the year, that might be a different story. But you have to call on these types of players just to see what they're asking for. I don't know where John Wall is going to go, but I can tell you this right now. It's not going to be here in Detroit. I don't know how many of you guys actually want John Wall. Hopefully not many. I'm glad to see John Wall was back. I'm glad to see he can come back after years of injury to almost get back to his old self. That was his first year back. I would assume in this year he'll be better, but that contract is brutal. I don't want it. Now with a guy like Cade being here, whereas we have to groom Cade to be the guy. And I think we got good pieces right now to do so. Is I think him and Killian are going to work fine together. But you also got some nice wing players that are going to help his development in terms of playmaking, in terms of vision. And Sadiq Bey and Jeremy Grant. Right now, Jeremy Grant's still the guy, but Jeremy Grant is here to help Cade realize that he's going to be the guy. Grant might take some of the shots to close some of these games out this year, but in the next year or two, maybe at the end of this year, it'll be Cade. This is going to be Cade's team. And getting a guy like John Wall is going to help hurt the process of getting him there. Because John Wall wants to be the guy. He's making all that money. He used to be that guy in Washington before he got hurt. I don't really want conflict of that. But, John Wall is a great player. Cade could learn a lot from him, but at some point to learn, you have to be the guy. You have to take those shots. You have to fail. Go back, we talked about Kobe and Shaq earlier. I'm sure you guys have all seen that video of the Lakers game where they had a chance to win and Kobe airballed the ball 4 times to win it. Everyone's like, wow, why didn't they go to Shaq? It all goes back to what we talked about in the beginning. You have to fail to get better. Kobe went on to become one of the most clutchest players of all time, one of the greatest players of all time, one of the greatest champions of all time. You don't critique young players from their failures. They have to learn from them and get better. And getting a guy like John Wall, where Cade wouldn't have those opportunities to airball those 4 shots to learn from it. Not saying that Cade's going to do that. Cade might come in and hit a clutch shot to win a game right off the rip. I don't know. But John Wall is going to stunt the growth of him. And I really don't want that to happen. I really just want this year to be the Pistons' young core competing and fighting and growing and getting better. This is not the year to add some big name like this. I don't even know how we would do it. We're so broke with all these buyouts. We still got Blake's contract on the books. We got DeAndre Jordan's contract on the books now. Those are 2 pretty big contracts we're dealing with there. Don't want to throw John Wall in that mix. At some point in time, I would like to get out of this salary cap hell and look to actually go out in free agency and get some good players. I think Kelly Olynyk's going to be great for us this year. I'm starting to like that sign. But it's just like, what would John Wall do? Like, how serious are we about competing? I'm looking at this at the Eastern Conference right now. Can we really make the playoffs with or without John Wall? Is John Wall going to be so damn good that when he comes here, we're instantly a playoff team? Like, is he going to be that guy? Like the Chicago Bulls, they went out and got Lonzo. They got Vucevic last year. They added pieces. I'm missing another one. Well, they got Zach LaVine now. He's been balling out the last few years. Fantastic. Oh, DeMar DeRozan. Like, they are instantly a playoff team just off of their talent alone. John Wall is not going to be that guy for us. This is going to be a tough year to make the playoffs. It's going to be a tough year to make the play-in tournament. The Pistons have a shot at it. John Wall's not really going to move that needle in terms of getting us into the playoff tournament or not. Like, we're going to be pretty much the same. We might go up a little notch, but it's not going to be a night and day difference where we're like, holy cow, we actually got a shot at this now. No, I ain't buying it. But my point is, Cade's going to get developed, man. Cade's going to be nice. Even though Jalen Green sent some out-of-pocket things, some things that may have put him on the no-fly zone, Cade and him are the best 2 players in the draft. They're going to be nice players. And this whole John Wall trade is going to help Green get his opportunity. Because at first, I didn't know how much opportunity he was going to get after looking at the Rockets roster with Christian Wood, John Wall being there, how much he would be an offensive option. But now that John Wall's gone, he's going to get more touches. He's going to get more shots up, which is great for him. So we got to do the same thing for Cade. Get him to that point. So that way when all this money's off of our books and we can spend money, the next time a Bradley Beal player is on the market, you can be a little bit more aggressive and get that player there because they're going to make you better. Or the next time a Kawhi or an AD is on the market, Not that it has to be those players, but next time a player like that's available, you can go out in free agency and be aggressive and sign them because they're going to want to come play with Cade. They're going to want to come play with Sadiq Bey. They're going to want to play with these guys if you develop them right. So you got to stay patient. You can't take shortcuts. We've been taking shortcuts for far too long. Charlie V, Ben Gordon, Josh Smith. We try to do all these half-ass signings, pay them a lot of money, and guess what it translated to? Absolutely nothing. Lottery teams. Lottery teams. Blake Griffin, throw him in the mix. Made the playoffs one time with them. Boom. All right. I guess we can say here in the playoffs. I guess that was the next topic. At first, when we drafted Cade, I was thinking playoffs, and then Chicago went crazy. They signed everybody, traded for everybody. It's going to be so damn tough for the Pistons to get into the play-in tournament, which is fine. It's cool. If we don't make it, we're still a lottery team, which is cool. Next year's draft is also a pretty good draft class. We won't probably be as high as when we got Cade, but we'll be probably a top 8 team if we don't make it. So, which is not bad. We're used to that picking. There's some good people that are still available there, but how much would that player be able to help us? This year is going to be very interesting for the Pistons because we're not going to be actively tanking, at least to start the year. If we're out of the playoff picture, out of the play-in tournament towards the end of the season, then we might lose a couple games to boost our draft value and get our lottery odds up. But we're going to be competitive. We're not going to be trying to lose. Last year, we were trying to lose. And, if you watch the JJ Redick podcast where you had Blake on there, he talked about that. The Pistons were trying to tank. That's why Derrick Rose didn't want to be here, which is understandable. Derrick Rose did it the right way. He went to management and said, I don't want to be a part of this. Can you please trade me somewhere like the Knicks so I can play meaningful basketball? And they said, yeah, cool. Don't have a problem with D Rose. He did it the right way. Blake, he didn't care. Didn't give a fuck. We want it out. Cool. Whatever. Bye. But we're not doing that this year. We're not trying to tank. We're going to be playing the young guys. Our team is so young, it's ridiculous. And we added a good player like Kelly Olynyk to the mix, who's going to be an offensive beast for us. I think everyone that we brought in this year and brought back helps all of our young players. I really do. I think this year's going to be fun. Even if we don't make the playoffs, we're going to be a competitive team. We're going to surprise some teams. We're going to beat some good teams this year. Last year, we didn't do that a whole lot. Actually, it was the only time we beat people was when we were playing good. Is we beat the good teams. We beat Boston a couple times. We beat Brooklyn once. Those were the only times we got dubs. This year, it's going to be a lot more of that, but we'll be able to beat the players that are on our level. Like the Charlotte Hornets, I'd say we match up pretty well with them. We've matched up well with them a lot. Those games will be a lot more interesting. Not saying we're going to sweep them or anything like that, but we'll be able to steal a couple games from them. We're going to compete with those type of teams that, hey, we view ourselves on the same level as you. We're a good young team. We want to be where you're at. We're coming at you. And we're going to play those teams. We're going to play them hard. But the thing about it is the league is so stacked right now. I don't remember the last time the league was this stacked. You probably have to go back to the mid-2000s where every team has a good player, at least. I mean, you got OKC who doesn't have one yet, and you got the Magic who don't have one yet. Everyone else pretty much has either a really good young player who's not a superstar yet but has the potential to get there, or they have a couple superstars. The league is stacked right now. It's a good time to be a basketball fan because even though Brooklyn signed everybody and the Lakers signed everybody, doesn't mean they're going to beat Milwaukee. You don't know who's going to win. Like Miami, they should be a dark horse title contender. Not that I'm a huge Kyle Lowry fan, but PJ Tucker's a great fit. Him and Jimmy Butler are going to clamp some fools up, but they're well coached. They play the game the right way. I mean, I'm not a big Tyler Hero fan either, but you can't deny that they're going to be a tough team to beat, especially in the playoffs. That is a playoff team if I've ever seen one. I don't want to play them in the playoffs. And then you got Boston, who the last, 4 years, they made the Eastern Conference Finals 3 times. They're going to be tough. And that's only talking in the Eastern Conference. I mean, the West is still stacked. I mean, you got Luka and the Mavs. He still needs help, but they're going to be a playoff team. The Clippers are still a playoff team. They made the Western Conference Final for the first time without Kawhi Leonard. That they're going to come back. Kawhi's going to come back. Hopefully he's healthy. The Golden State Warriors should have Klay Thompson back this year. I mean, Steph, Klay, and Draymond changed the league not that long ago. They're back to being healthy. You don't know who's going to win this year. So for the Pistons to make the play-in tournament, if they ever did so, would be just a huge step forward in terms of building this team the right way. And so far we have been, even though I haven't liked the Bruce Brown trade, even though I don't like the Sekou trade, for the most part, Troy Weaver's done a great job of getting talent in here. It's just that Bruce Brown wasn't his guy, Sekou wasn't his guy. He completely turned the roster over. There's not a single guy here that Troy Weaver has not brought in himself. It's his team. It's how he wants it to be. And it's not done yet. He just started to do the outline. He hasn't shaded it in yet. He hasn't added any background to it yet. It's just the outline. So we got to stay patient. Even though we want to be a play-in tournament, even though we want to be in the playoffs this year, I don't know how. I really don't. And if we did, it'd just be a remarkable job. It means that Cade undeniably would be rookie of the year, that Sadiq took that next step, that Beef Stew took that next step, that Killian's healthy and he played better. That's what it's going to take. All these guys have to come together and really, really step up. And yes, I do think Cade's going to win rookie of the year. No, not because I'm biased. I just think he's going to have the most opportunity of all the rest of the rookies. You know, I probably thought Mobley, before anyone was drafted, would probably be rookie of the year. But it's all about fit, too, in this system. Cleveland, I don't know what the hell they're doing. They got so many damn big men in it, it is ridiculous. I don't know how much opportunity he's going to get. And that was my original statement when I talked about earlier with Jalen Green, is I don't know how much opportunity he was going to get with John Wall and Christian Wood being there. But I really do think it's between Green and Cade at the end of the year, which, I know, big hot take there, right? No, not at all. I just think that Cade's going to have the most opportunity. And I think that some games he'll have those 25, maybe 30-point scoring nights. It's not going to be very common because he's a rookie. But those other nights, I think he's going to get some high rebounding games, some high assist games. He's the most complete player in the draft. So you're going to look at the stat sheet and be like, damn, Jalen Green had 18 points a game this year. But then you're going to look at Cade and be like, well, he had 16, 5, and 6 with 2 steals. Like, he really filled that stat sheet more. That's what it's going to come down to. Please, for the love of God, don't base this one off of wins. Because I don't think Houston's going to make the play-in tournament. I don't think the Pistons probably will either. But don't be like, well, Houston had 22 wins and the Pistons only had 20. Like, don't let that be the deciding factor, okay? That's all I'm asking. But you know, another thing I just thought about right now is All-Star Weekend. We got some people that can compete in this weekend. Rising Stars Challenge. Sadiq and Beef Stew didn't make it last year. Their second year. They can still do it this year. But you're going to have, on the Pistons, I'm going to assume, Cade. Killian might go to Team World. I'm not sure how that's going to work out because I know he's from Florida, but he played overseas. I'm not sure what squad he'll be on. But he's got a shot to make it. Sadiq, for sure, is going to make it this year. He's going to have a good year. Beef Stew's got a shot to make it. So, I mean, the Pistons could be represented in the Rising Stars Challenge this year. But then let's move on to the other aspects of it, the fun nights, the skills challenge. I mean, we got a lot of guys that can do that. Killian might be a part of that. He's pretty skilled. Cade might be a part of that. He's pretty skilled. 3-point shooting contest. Sadiq's got a great shot to be in it this year. He really does. He was the best rookie 3-point shooting guy last year. Probably should have made it last year, but for some reason, all the stars want to be in the 3-point shooting contest. They don't want to be in the dunk contest no more, which is nice to see Clay and Curry go at it each and every year, but let's see Sadiq in it this year, man. The dunk contest is very interesting. I really think the only guy that's going to be able to have a shot to do that this year for the Pistons is Diallo, and he's already done it. He's already won it. So I don't think he's going to do that again. Maybe Cade. Because Cade's got some sneaky dunks, but if he got into it, he's not going to win. He's not that guy. All-Stars, Jeremy Grant, he was a candidate to make it last year. Could he do it again this year? Probably very unlikely. But if he plays like he did last year and the Pistons win some more, the league's going to look at him a little bit different and be like, all right, maybe as a reserve, as a last option. The Pistons, like I said, are going to be fun. They're going to be exciting this year. They have some opportunities. Again, maybe not a whole lot more winning. We're not going to lose anymore. We're going to win more. But we might not get to the level we thought or that we think we could get to. But it's going to be fun. All-Star Weekend will be fun. I'm telling you guys. You're going to want to watch the Pistons. You're going to want to go to LCA. I'm not sure what the COVID protocols for that is, if you have to be vaccinated or if you can just wear a mask. I'm not sure. I haven't bought tickets yet. I got tickets to Kevin Gates next month, actually, which I'm kind of excited for that. That's in Grand Rapids. So if you guys are going to be in Grand Rapids for the Kevin Gates concert, hit me up. And then I'm also going in the next month after that. I'm going to see Bert Kreischer, a stand-up comedian that I really love, at the Fox Theater. If you're going there, hit me up. I just haven't had time to buy Pistons tickets yet, so don't judge me. But you're going to want to go to LCA to watch Cade, to watch Sadiq and Beef Stew, hell, Jeremy Grant and Kelly Olynyk. That is probably the happiest I have been in the offseason. I mean, you guys see my reaction to when we got the first overall pick. And I was drunk by the time we drafted Cade, so I don't, to be honest with you, I don't remember too much about that night. Shout out to Bravo for holding that show down with me. I'm sorry, I let you guys down on that one. I ended it way too early, but I just couldn't think. I was so blasted. But that same night we drafted Cade, will we remember it as the night we drafted Cade Cunningham? Or are we going to remember it as the day we got rid of Mason Bumley? That was probably, I think that's what started my drinking that night, was the day, the minute Woj tweeted out the Pistons traded Bumley. I was just like, finally that man is off my team. I don't have to watch him fumble the ball and try to be a damn point guard and a clumsy white center who couldn't shoot. Why the hell did we even bring him in here? What the hell did he do for us? Not a damn thing. Sure, he broke that one dude ankle. I don't know how. That is the gumpiest ankle breaker of all time. But he got it. But now he's off of my team. I'm so happy for that. Don't have to watch that man anymore. And that is the biggest sigh of relief. And, and then going back, I was kind of hurt by the Sekou trade. But just going back and remembering Troy Weaver got that guy off my team, thank you. But also going back and thinking, Troy Weaver got that guy on my team. Why? And I guess you can really say we traded him for Kelly Olynyk, which is a big upgrade. So I'm excited, man. This year's going to be fun. This year's going to be exciting. Man, I feel like there's going to be a lot of weird breaks in this because I'm drinking. I don't know. You guys got to bear with me. It's my first podcast. But yeah, man, I think that's pretty much all the Pistons topics I got. So let's go ahead and talk about tomorrow's matchup. Again, I don't even know if this will be uploaded in time. So I guess if this is, it's on Monday. It's a Monday night game. So I'll for sure have time to upload this tomorrow. Cool. Perks of not being live, I guess. I can say stuff like that. I'm not going to edit it. I don't edit anything I say out. Sometimes that sounds stupid. You just have to deal with it. It's Detroit Drew. I'm not fake. You get the 100% real version of Double D. And yes, these Double Ds are all real, all natural. I'm stupid, guys. I'm sorry. I haven't talked Lions all season long. I talked about Dan Campbell one time. Where do I begin? Do I start with the Packers or do I start with the Lions? Let's start with the Packers because I don't know where my Lions stuff will go. Aaron Rodgers don't want to be there. He's done. He did not give a monkey's anus against the Saints. That was the worst I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers play. I'm not an Aaron Rodgers guy, but holy cow, did he not want to be there? He looked terrible. The best way I can recap that game against the Saints, Winston played like Rodgers and Rodgers played like Winston. That's the best way I can sum it up for you. Green Bay's defense got torched. Their offense got torched. They didn't even have a touchdown. And when they subbed out Rodgers, he did not give a rat's ass. He wasn't disappointed. He was just chilling. So it's going to be very interesting to see if that carries over to week 2 or not. Because it's a division game. It's a rivalry. The rest of the players on the Packers aren't going to want to roll over and die. They're going to be pissed off. They're going to want to come out and rip our heads off. They're going to want to bite our kneecaps, but we're going to try to bite their kneecaps. It's going to be a kneecap biting contest. It's just the fact of Rodgers cares to show up. If he shows up, we're done. We're torched. We're done. We're doomed. We got torched by Jimmy Garoppolo and, you know, the 49ers. That being said, the Lions have a shot. And I don't know if I would have said that 3 quarters into the 49ers game. I really don't know if I would have. But I think we got some momentum. And I hope I'm not just sipping the Kool-Aid. Because I was so done with that game, and I was about to shut it off before we made that comeback. I really was. Our defense still needs work, and our offense, we need we need a quarterback. Goff ain't the guy. And yes, Goff's the leader right now in passing yards, but a lot of that was garbage time. Okay, don't dig too deep into that. Can't tell you how many times he missed a wide open receiver. I kid you not. The one, I think it was Cephas, was wide open on a comeback route. Wasn't a dude in 10 yards, and Goff threw it completely to the left. It wasn't even close. Needs work, and I'm sure a lot of it's chemistry issues. But even with Goff playing on the Rams, like Stafford already has more 20+ yards and touchdown passes already this year than the Rams did all last year. He threw 2. He had that 66 or 67-yard bomb. And he had a 51 to Cup. Goff all of last year had 2. So, I mean, the big plays aren't there for the Lions, which it's fine. You can make an offense that works like that. And we ran the ball really well, and we're going to continue to run the ball really well because Goff is never going to be the guy to consistently do what he tried to do against the 49ers. It's just not who he is. So, I mean, we have to get the receivers more involved and maybe look to target TJ Hawkinson more. TJ had a nice game. He had a touchdown, a couple of receptions, almost at 100 yards. You have to get him more looks. And the play action is going to be working beautifully for us because of how good we were running the ball. And I know Williams is going to want to run the ball against the Packers and show them what's up. So maybe he'll have a big game, and maybe that's how we'll win. I don't know. The Lions, I really don't know how to feel right now because I was so hurt with those first 3 quarters. A lot of you guys don't know I'm a huge Lions fan. I really am. I like them more than I do the Pistons at times. So I don't really know how to feel. You hear Baby Harper? Baby Harper is not in a good mood right now. She just got her shots. So yikes. And she's talking about the Lions right now too. So maybe she's not happy because of that. She was not having a fun time that week 1 matchup. But we built something though. We came back and we made that game competitive. We had the 49ers like shitting their pants like, oh no, we can't let this happen. And it almost did. We had an opportunity to tie that game up, and it's just we couldn't get it done. It would have been an impossible task last one to come back that way anyway. I'm just glad they fought. And maybe that's what Campbell was talking about was we're not going to roll over. Like we were down bad in the 4th quarter, but we came back and we made it close. We only lost by 8. And I like that mentality is like if we are down bad, we're not going to quit. We're not going to make it easy for you. We just have to get better of not getting in those positions. That's really what it boils down to. I'm so sick and tired of all these damn comebacks. Win the game. Don't make it a comeback. Play harder. It's just like sometimes we don't call the right plays or we just aren't clicking the right way until the 4th quarter, which is fine. We make the adjustments and it's cool, but we've been here. We've done this dance before, and it's tiring. So tiring. I don't know anymore. But I'm pulling for the Lions, man. I like Campbell. His speeches, man, they get me to want to throw the helmet and the pads on and go out there and bite some kneecaps. It's the same boat the Pistons were in last year. There's going to be a lot of turnover, a lot of correcting the wrong that's been done, and implementing the new system and getting players to buy into the new system, which for the most part, a lot of the players have bought into it. Every time I hear a Lions player now, they're happy. Whereas Patricia was here, they weren't. They were sad. They didn't want to be here. They took the life out of Stafford. Stafford didn't want to be here no more. All the drama with Calvin, I know a lot of that wasn't because of the old regime's problem, but it's just like so much was bad with Quinn and Patricia here. It's like lingering. You just have to be patient. It's a rebuild season for the Lions. And the way the NFC North looks, it might not be a long rebuild. We might be ahead of the curve on this one. I just don't like Andy Dalton. The Bears looked stupid. The Vikings lost in Cincinnati. They look stupid. And Rodgers doesn't want to be in Green Bay. They look stupid. The Lions look stupid for being down so bad too. So I don't know. I don't know where the season's going to hold for the Lions. I'd imagine it's going to be a roller coaster of emotion season. We're going to have some real highs. We're going to have some real lows. So buckle up your seatbelt and keep your hands and feet in the vehicle at all time. So, yeah, man. That being said, though, I do think the Lions have a real shot to win. I put some money on them to win. I've picked them to win in multiple pick'em leagues. As long as Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be in Green Bay, he's not going to try. And he might ask for a trade. It doesn't happen a whole lot in the NFL mid-season. But he said he's going to try to give it one more shot. We'll have to wait and see. But Monday Night Football, I think the Lions have a real shot to win. And right now, I'm picking them to win. I'm going to give them 28-24. It'll be a close one, but the Lions will pull it out. And Lambeau. I'm pretty sure it's in Lambeau. Go blue, baby. Wait, the wrong blue. We're not going to talk MSU and U of M. We might save that for some of these more college guys. But that's the first podcast, man. That is the Drew 13 first ever episode. So let me know what you guys think, man. You guys can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Let me know how you guys found it on different websites. If you guys want to come on the show, I have a long list of people who've just in one day have already asked me to come on the show. So if you want to come on, that's cool. Let me know and I'll put you on the list. It just might take a minute right now because I got to figure out how to do this still. And I have a lot of people who I've personally asked to come on that want to come on. And I had a lot more people reach out to me than I thought would who asking me to come on, which is fantastic. I didn't think I'd have that much support, but we're going to get this thing going. We're going to have a lot of cool guests, a lot of interesting guests, and we're going to talk about some things more than the Pistons. So buckle up, peeps. It's going to be a hell of a roller coaster ride, just like the Lions, baby. That being said, I appreciate you guys listening to the first ever Drew 313 podcast, baby. It's going to be a good one. So I don't know how you guys leave your comments on the other. I don't know if you guys do comment on podcast sites. I doubt it. But like I said, reach out to me on social media and on YouTube. Comment down below what you guys thought. And the comments, talk along like this is a live one. Talk to each other. Having fun, engaged, trying to grow the community, get you guys closer, and talk about some things that, there's a lot of crazy things going on in the world with politics and COVID and all this other crap. And I'm sick of it. I want to give you guys this escape room to talk about whatever we want to talk about. If we want to talk about UFOs and aliens, God damn it, we're going to talk UFOs and aliens. We're going to talk conspiracy theories. We're going to talk conspiracy theories. We're going to talk Marvel. We're going to talk Marvel. If we're going to talk Pistons, Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, I'm not talking soccer. I'm not talking soccer. That's the one thing I'm not talking about on here. Sorry for all your soccer fans. Ain't happening on here. But I don't want to ramble on too long. Don't want to make this too much longer. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. And I'll see you guys in the next podcast where I will have a special guest. I just don't know who will be first yet. I got to find out who asked first. But I'll see you guys in the next one. And that's the bottom line. Why? What? Because Drew 313 said so. Peace.